Hello, British Literature Scholars. It's now the 13th week of the fall 2017 semester, and this week we are going to be reading somebody who is still alive, and that is Salman Rushdie. Now, he's a very, very old man, but hey, he's still alive, despite the fatwa that it was taken out on him by the Ayatollah Khomeini back in the 70s. If you're not sure what I mean by that, read the introduction to Salman Rushdie before you read The Prophet's Hair, and maybe Google him and you'll see what that means. But before you go trying to win $1 million by executing the man, just realize that the people that took that fatwa out on him are probably all dead by now and you'd have no way to collect. But Salman Rushdie is our author this week. He's very unusual in that he was born in India and yet he claims allegiance to both India and England. So in the previous couple of weeks we looked at people from India that were being taken over by the British and the violent, at times, reactions to that. Rushdie is a descendant of some of the people that were in India when England took over, and now he's a generation or two removed from those folks, probably a couple generations removed away, and so now he claims a British citizenship and an Indian citizenship at the same time, and that can be very confusing for many people. So when you read the Dream England passage, which is about 3 pages or so, you'll see how he talks about, we're Muslims, but we eat pork. We are Hindus, but we've crossed the Dark Sea in order to get to England. English is the first language of many of the people in our country now, and on and on. So there's this crisis of national identity that goes on by the people that have been colonialized by the British. And so Rushdie kind of touches on that in the essay that you're going to read by him about the Dream England. Then you're going to get to read a really fun short story called The Prophet's Hair. This is a show of how Indian nationalism and the Indian languages and the Indian religious traditions and on actually become a part of British literature. And so it's a story told in an entertaining way, based in India, and based with Indian characters, but they speak English and they have English customs. And in fact, Hashim and his family are not hardcore Hindus, at least not until the vial is recovered. So the vial, by the way, has a strand of hair by the Prophet Muhammad, and it has magical properties. And these magical properties are not always good. In fact, in many cultures, getting granted 3 wishes by a genie was a bad thing because of the high price you paid to have each wish granted. This is not that exact kind of story, but what should be a blessing by having the Prophet's hair turns out to be a really big curse, not only for Hashim, but for every member of his family and for the members of Sheikh Sin, who is the thief of thieves, if you will, the prince of thieves. It'll have negative implications on him and his family as well. So, out of all of that, I think you're going to really enjoy this week's readings. I know I like them. They're one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite authors of the entire semester, and I hope that you will find as you read this and take the quiz and answer the questions that I hope you'll find this not to be so much grueling study as much as it is enjoyable reading for British literature.